One day, I was at a Savers with my mom in hopes that we could find any old stuff that we may like. I went over and looked for the DVD/DVD section in hopes that I could find the first season of The Nut Shack. But instead, what I found was something completely different. It was a Bob the Builder DVD called Spud's Favorite Adventures. Knowing that Bob the Builder was a show I watched a lot as a kid and that Spud the Scarecrow from the show was one of my cartoon crushes, I decided to get it. But of course my mom actually got it for me because
I have no money!
When I came back home, I decided to go ahead and try watching the DVD by playing it on my computer. So I went into my room, turned on my computer, popped the DVD into the disk drive, and opened up VLC player to sit back and watch it. When the DVD played, the first weird thing about it was that the opening promos weren't hits entertainment related, as Bob DVDs would only include stuff from them. All of them were instead just trailers for the Disney movie The Wild playing in reverse, but I kept watching anyways because I thought it was funny. Then finally it came to the menu. I pressed the play option, and actually started watching what I got it for. When it was playing, the Bob intro was mostly normal, except I could faintly hear what seemed to be an angry black man swearing about something. If you ask me, I think he was baby raging about The Wild not getting a sequel. After the intro ended, the episode now played. The title of it was called Spud 6X 6X 6X. Of course it started off with the Bobsville zoom-in shot I always saw as a kid, but what came after it was weird. Nobody was there. It kept on showing shots of Bobsville's town and countryside areas, still with not a single character in sight. Although I think at one point I saw a penguin rapidly ground humping in the background. Then, I finally came to a shot of one of Farmer Pickles, a character from the show's farm fields with yet again no one in sight for about 10 seconds. Until I saw Spud! He came out of nowhere at the farm field, and what was weird but at the same time sexy was that he had a hyper-realistic parsnip nose, like ones you could probably find at your local grocery store. With me now having my eyes wide open, Spud said something towards the camera. "I'm Spud the Disco Dancer!" Suddenly, Spud immediately got further away from the camera and looked down at the ground with rhythmic movement, while boomboxes and other stereo equipment appeared out of nowhere. I then recognized the music as the Jellyfish Jam song from SpongeBob now playing. Then, more characters came on screen, which included Shrek, the Wiggles, Tito Dick, the Curious George Chef, Uncle Gizmo from Roly Poly Oly, Sid the Science Kid's dad, and the farmer from Shaun the Sheep. They all did the same thing as Spud was doing, until finally they started dancing to the main part of the song. They did pelvic thrusting to the song for what seemed like 10 minutes and beyond. I don't know why, but although I got nervous at first, I started to become horny at what was happening. Then what happened next was that Shrek stopped pelvic thrusting and pulled out his ginormous ogre cock and said, "This beast will be under warranty!" And they all started having an ultra-gay homosexual faggot fuck. At first I was surprised, but knowing all these characters' sexiness and the thing that was going on, I got more and more horny until I started masturbating. I was so turned on by these gorgeous men. But then, just when I was about to come at what was happening, stupid old Rebecca Black showed up on Red St. Friday! No! And then it faded to black. I was so mad with myself that I came at the wrong time. I wanted to come when the sexy characters were having sex, but Rebecca Black ruined it all. After that, I cleaned myself up and went to bed, still feeling really mad with myself. When I was asleep, I had a dream where I was at an abandoned zany brainy store building and the very same sexy characters, including Spud and Shrek, were there, with rock-hard boners. They all ripped their clothes off inside the building and started fucking each other while including me into it. It was so hot and such an honor to accept every blow from the Wiggles' peepees in particular. The orgy seemed to have lasted on for 78 years. Later on, I woke up in the morning to find my bedsheets and underwear all wet. But the thing that was worse was that my mom came in the room and angrily told me to get ready for school. During the week, I tried telling my friends about the experience I had with Spud's Favorite Adventures, but they didn't believe me. They all thought I was trying to be funny, but in what became my reality, I was not. When Saturday came, I became so desperate and horny about my experience from last weekend that I went right ahead and played the DVD again on my computer. Everything was the same as last time, except that the episodes that were supposed to play as said in the back of the DVD case were instead just the episode Skateboard Spud, where Spud tries to become a wall grinder in different languages. After it last played the Turkish version of the episode, it finally changed over to something very different, but special. Instead of taking place at Bobsville, it took place at the Chuck E. Cheese's I always go to because I'm a fat piece of shit who still enjoys that. All the same characters that turned me on from before were there, except this time they were wearing Things That Are Epic shirts. They were having fun at Chuck E. Cheese's until yet again, Rebecca Black and her stupid friends came into the building. Not only was it stupid for her to go to Chuck E. Cheese's on a Saturday if she likes Fridays so much, but Spud and Shrek looked at her straight in the eye and said, "No girls allowed!" They then pulled out their ginormous penises and used them to slap Rebecca Black and her stupid girlfriends right out of Chuck E. Cheese's. It was such an amazing sight! Then Spud and Shrek took Rebecca Black's boyfriends and penetrated their asses until slapping them out of the building too. After all that, between all the characters still inside the building, it transformed into another hot, sexy, ultra-queer fuckfest. But what happened next though that made me splurge in a millisecond was that while the orgy was going on, Spud ran up to my computer screen, grabbed my hand, and pulled me into what I knew as Spud's favorite adventures itself. My boxers were instantly ruined, but I didn't care. It felt so good to be held by the hand of Spud himself. We all had gay, creamy sex for 5 hours straight with the Cory in the House and Yo Mama theme songs playing in the background. Then after when the orgy was over and everyone was way too tired to even have the slightest fap, Spud and Shrek held me by their hands, took me back to my computer, gave me the complete first season of The Nut Shack on DVD, and went back into my computer screen as Spud's favorite adventures ended. I was so satisfied by the orgy that happened, but what put the icing on the cake was that when I later viewed my desktop, I saw that my background was a picture of the very same orgy that happened. And all of my computer game shortcuts were now shortcuts to A Day with the Wiggles, Shrek Extra Large, Tigger's Party Quiz, and Viva Pinata. Never again would I be given such a blessing from such amazing characters. All I wanted to know now at this point was who was the person that first had the DVD before I got it myself at Savers last weekend. And if I could ever meet up with the person, I would get him into forming a religion of worshipping Spud, Shrek, and all the other characters that appeared on the DVD's Wrath and Girth. Thank you for fulfilling my needs in life, Spud. Thank you.